Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So guys, in this video we are going to understand what are modules in Angular. So modules were an important concept till Angular 15 and the versions before that, but after Angular 15, the concept of modules are not used mostly because we have now standalone components and we directly import those components into our main components, like how we have seen in our previous video. So in this video, we are going to understand if you are working with an old version of Angular and if you have to work with modules, what are the major importance of modules and how to create a module, how can we use a module, and finally we are going to see how can you make a component inside a module. So before starting the video, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Also, I have created a complete playlist on Angular, so please make sure to check it because already a lot of topics are already covered in this video. Let's move on. And let's see our first question, which is what is a module? Okay, in Angular, a module is a mechanism used to store an application into cohesive blocks of functionality. Modules help in structuring an Angular application by grouping related components, directive, pipes, and services together. So you can consider that module, what does it holds? It holds a particular functionality. For example, if we have a functionality related to user authentication, so what we can do is we can create a separate module regarding user authentication. Now all the components related to user authentication like login, sign up will be present inside our user authentication module, and later on what we can do is we can import that module into our main module so that it will be provided to our main module. So in this way, the main concept of module is that it is used to organize the application into a cohesive or a unified block, and the block is of functionality. For example, in this image we can see we have multiple components. Okay, component 1, component 2, component 3, and we can have more components in such a way. So all these components are related to this functionality, and then we have something called as directives, services, pipes. So till now we have not studied all these topics in our playlist, but in the upcoming video we are going to cover all these topics also, that is what are directives, services, and pipes. So for now, just understand that module is a block of functionality where you can keep all your related components and all these services, directives, and pipes. So let's now move ahead and let's create a new module. In practice, we are going to start from scratch. So if we create a new Angular application, by default the components that we are getting in our project that is getting created is of a standalone component. So this time we can't create that, because if we create a standalone component we will not be getting a module file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the command ng new for generating a new app or a project. So I'm going to write my app, and this is the name of my project. Now I'm going to write no standalone. This means that when I click enter, this will create an Angular project which will not be having a standalone components inside it. So now our Angular project is created, and when we open this, we can see we have a source file. In that we have an app, and in our app.component.ts file, if you will see, we do not have that line standalone true, which means that this component is not a standalone component. One more thing to notice is we have also got a app.module.ts. Generally, if you create your Angular application using ng new and your app name without writing no standalone in the latest versions of Angular, you are not going to see this app.module.ts. But since we have written -- no standalone, this has generated a module file for us. Now let's move forward, and first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to run our application. So we need to go to our app directory, which is my app, and then I'm going to write the command ng serve. So you can see our app is ready. So now let's move forward. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create a new component so that we will understand how can we import a component inside a module and how to display it on screen. So for that I'm going to write the command ng gc and the component name. This will give me a component with the name of hello, and then we are going to see how can we display it on screen. So we have our hello component ready. Okay, so now what if I directly write it inside the app.component.html? So first of all, let me remove this basic stuff and let's just write hi there, and on screen you can see we have hi there. Now I want that I want my hello component to be displayed on a screen. So if I write app hello, this is our selector for hello component, and it will be displayed on screen. So you can see hello works. Okay, so now why it is displaying directly? Because in our app.module.ts it is getting imported. What if this was not imported here? It won't be displaying on screen. So whenever we create a component, we have to import it inside our modules. Okay, so you have to remember that if you create a new component, this should be imported. So this was automatically imported when we generate a component. So we don't have to import explicitly, but you have to understand that when you create a new component, it has to be imported in your app.module.ts. Okay, so now we have understood how can we generate a new component and can display on screen by importing it into our app.module.ts. Now let us understand a step further. Like what we are going to do is I'm going to create a new module itself, which is my user auth. Okay, so for that I'm going to write the command ng g and m for module. So you can even write ng generate module and then your module name. So my module name is going to be user auth. So now you can see our user auth module is generated, and here if you see we have got this code. Now the next thing that we are going to see is what we are going to do is we are going to create a component inside this user auth module, and then we want that component is to be displayed on screen. Okay. For that, what we are going to do is I am going to write the command for generating a component ng-gc, and my component name is login. So I can write it in this way directly, because if I'm going to write it in this way, it will generate a login component on this level. It will generate and it will be imported in my app.module.ts. But I want that this new component that I'm generating should be generated inside my user auth. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it like this: user auth / login. In this way, we are mentioning that we want to generate a new component, but that should be generated inside our user auth module. So now you can see our login component is now generated. Now if we want to display it on screen, what we need to do is first of all we need to import this user auth module in our app.module.ts, because for now if you see this user auth is a separate module in itself. App.module.ts does not have any idea about user auth. So what we need to do is we want to make app module aware about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import user auth module, and then so one more important point to note here is whenever you are importing any module, you have to mention it into your import section, and whenever you are importing any of your components, you have to mention it in your declaration section. So this is one of the important things you have to take care. Now next thing what I want is I want to display my login component on screen. So let's go to our app.component.html, and here if I write my login component, will it be displaying on screen? Let's see. So if you see, it is giving me an error because our app login is not understood by our app module. Okay, so for that what we need to do is in our user auth module we need to export this component basically, because if it is not exported it won't be understood by our app module. So in order to export it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write login component here. It will be displayed on our screen. So you can see login works is displayed here. So in this video we have seen a lot of things. Let us revise what we have seen so far. First of all, what we have seen is what is a module. Then what we did was we created a component and then imported it inside our module. Like it was basically automatically imported, but if it does not get imported automatically, you have to import it manually. So once that is done, we have displayed it on our screen. The second thing that we did is we created a new module that was user auth, and inside that user auth module we created a new component that was login component, and then we imported that user auth module into our app module. And then later on, in order to display our login component on screen, what we have done is we have exported our login component from our user auth module so that it can be understood by our app module. And once that is done, we have displayed all these things on screen. Now let us see the interview question for today. What is the purpose of common module in Angular? So in Angular, the common module that is available in package Angular/common is a module that encapsulates all the commonly needed features of Angular, such as services, pipes, directives, etc. It contains some modules as well, such as HTTP client module, which is available in the Angular/common/HTTP package. So you can understand that common module is basically a module that encapsulates or captures all the commonly needed features of Angular, such as services, pipes, and directives. So that's all for this video. I hope you have learned something new in this video, and if you found the video helpful, please give it a like, share your valuable comment in the comment section, and finally please subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel. Thanks for watching the video.